Japan signals bold return to nuclear power. The governor of Japan's Niigata prefecture officially cleared plans for the restart of the world's biggest nuclear power plant, Tokyo Electric's Kashiwazaki Kariwa plant, specifically covering the two largest units, number 6 and number 7. This decision is the strongest signal that Japan is re-embracing nuclear power, more than a decade after the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi meltdown forced the shutdown of all 54 operating reactors. The shift is driven by a need to curb costs and secure energy independence, as the resource-poor nation spent $68 billion last year on imported liquefied natural gas and coal, accounting for 10% of its total import costs. The restart is subject to final approval by the Niigata Prefectural Assembly.
Elon Musk targets global AI chip production higher than all competitors combined. Our goal is to bring a new AI chip design to volume production every 12 months, he posted on X. We expect to build chips at higher volumes ultimately than all other AI chips combined. These chips will profoundly change the world in positive ways, saving millions of lives due to safer driving and providing advanced medical care to all people via Optimus, Musk said. Musk noted his team has already designed and deployed several million AI chips across Tesla vehicles and data centers. Tesla's current AI-4 chip is already in cars, AI-5 is nearing deployment, and AI-6 is underway.
Meta enters power trading to fuel explosive AI growth. Meta Platforms is moving into electricity trading to help accelerate the development of new US power plants needed to support its rapidly growing AI energy demands, Bloomberg reported. The shift comes after Meta learned that developers struggled because too few power buyers were willing to make the early, long-term commitments required for new projects. Urvi Parek, Meta's head of global energy, said trading power will give the company the flexibility to sign longer contracts, exactly what plant developers need to secure financing. Meta plans to scale gradually, first working with external partners before entering power markets independently. This move highlights the massive surge in electricity demand driven by AI development and the increasing role tech giants are playing in reshaping US energy markets.
NVIDIA dominates supercomputing sockets in SC25, Wedbush. Wedbush analyzed the processors powering the top 500 supercomputers at the 2025 International Conference for High-Performance Computing, Networking, Storage, and Analysis, noting that although 45 new systems entered this year's list, none broke into the top 10. Among new systems, AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA appeared most frequently, with ARM representing 10% of new processors. According to Wedbush's Bryson, NVIDIA once again represented the single leading supplier into supercomputing sockets, with 30 GPU sockets as well as 6 CPU sockets. Intel followed with 25 CPU sockets, while AMD had 18 sockets, 14 CPUs, and 4 GPUs. Quantum meets drones. IONQ strengthens U.S. defense push with Heaven Aerotech partnership. IONQ announced a strategic partnership with Heaven Aerotech, a developer of unmanned aerial systems, enabling Heaven to integrate IONQ's quantum computing, networking, sensing, and security technologies into its autonomous aerial platforms. The move reinforces IONQ's footprint in defense and networking work, building on its series of roughly $100 million U.S. Air Force Research Lab contracts from 2022 to 2025. Project Kuiper Reborn as Amazon Leo debuts Ultra Terminal to power remote enterprise connectivity. With more than 150 satellites currently in orbit and initial network testing now underway, Amazon officially launched an enterprise preview of its Leo satellite internet service, formerly Project Kuiper. The preview is specifically targeting businesses, governments, and organizations that operate in areas challenged by poor connectivity, including remote locations and platforms like commercial aircraft. Early customers include JetBlue, Vanu Inc., Hunt Energy Network, Connected Farms, and Crane Worldwide Logistics. Amazon said the service is designed to support critical business applications, including real-time data processing, remote operations management, and secure communications for teams working in field locations. It also connects directly to Amazon Web Services, as well as other cloud and on-premise networks, allowing customers to securely move data from remote assets to private networks without touching the public internet, Amazon added. The company also introduced Leo Ultra, which it claims is the fastest production terminal, offering up to 1 gigabit per second download and 400 megabits per second upload speeds.
BitMine claims 3% of the Ethereum network after huge accumulation. As of November 23rd, Bitmine Immersion Technologies reported $11.2 billion in combined crypto, cash, and moonshots holdings. Holdings were $11.8 billion on November 16th. The company held 3,629,701 ETH, 192 BTC, and $38 million stake in 8Co Holdings, and $800 million in unencumbered cash. Chairman Thomas Lee said, Bitmine has now acquired 3% of the Ethereum network, noting the company bought 69,822 ETH in the past week.
Tesla set to double Austin robotaxi fleet next month. The Tesla robotaxi fleet in Austin should roughly double next month, Musk said in a post on X. Tesla currently operates robotaxis in Austin and the San Francisco Bay Area, still with safety monitors in the vehicles. The company last week also received a permit to operate a ride-hailing service in Arizona.
Meta eyes Google TPUs as NVIDIA plays down competitive threat. NVIDIA shares fell after a report that Meta is considering a multi-billion-dollar deal to use Google's tensor processing units in its data centers starting in 2027 and may rent Google chips next year. NVIDIA issued a statement saying it was delighted by Google's success, but that it is still the leader in the industry. NVIDIA is a generation ahead of the industry. It's the only platform that runs every AI model and does it everywhere computing is done, NVIDIA said. NVIDIA offers greater performance, versatility, and fungibility than ASICs, which are designed for specific AI frameworks or functions.
Prototype space interceptors enter development under secretive Golden Dome push. The U.S. Space Force has issued a series of small, undisclosed contracts, each under $9 million, to begin building prototype space-based interceptors for the Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative. The awards bypass standard disclosure thresholds, reflecting tightened secrecy around the estimated $175 billion program. The Space Force didn't release the names of the selected contractors. Officials emphasized moving quickly with industry partners to design, test, and deliver early interceptor models. Developing interceptors capable of performing in space remains one of the most significant technical hurdles. In a late September report, Congressional Research Service analyst Hannah Dennis pointed to unresolved issues such as distinguishing actual missile threats from debris and decoys. Congress approved $25 billion for Golden Dome activities this fiscal year, including $5.6 billion earmarked for space-based and boost phase interceptors.
Rapidus IBM alliance fires up the 1.4 nanometer race as Japan takes on TSMC and Samsung. According to Nikkei Asia, the company plans to begin construction of a second Hokkaido fab in fiscal 2027, targeting production of 1.4 nanometer chips by 2029. Its first Chitose facility is scheduled to start mass 2 nanometer production in late fiscal 2027. Rapidus will also begin full-scale R&D on 1.4 nanometer chips in fiscal 2026, continuing its technology collaboration with IBM, which provides technology for 2 nanometer chips. IBM and Rapidus had entered a partnership in December 2022 to build semiconductor technology aimed at developing IBM's breakthrough 2 nanometer technology for implementation by Rapidus at its fab in Japan. The company said in July that a 2 nanometer device was functioning, though the path to high-volume manufacturing is still in development. TSMC aims to mass-produce 1.4 nanometer chips in 2028, while Samsung plans 1.4 nanometer in 2027. Rapidus CEO Atsuyoshi Koike said in April that the company is in discussions with Apple, Google, and others about production for future processors. Uber and WeRide roll out Middle East's first fully driverless robotaxi on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. Riders can now hail a WeRide robotaxi via Uber Comfort, Uber X, or the new autonomous category. The fleet uses WeRide's GXR model, a purpose-built autonomous vehicle seating up to 5 passengers. WeRide now operates over 100 robotaxis in the Middle East.
Chinese tech firms train AI abroad to access NVIDIA chips. Chinese tech companies, including Alibaba and ByteDance, are training AI models overseas to access NVIDIA chips, the Financial Times reported, citing sources. The firms use leased data centers in Southeast Asia, operated by non-Chinese entities, to bypass U.S. restrictions on NVIDIA chip sales, such as the H20, in China. Notably, DeepSeek is training its AI model in China, having secured a large stock of NVIDIA chips before before U.S. export controls. The startup is also collaborating with local chip makers, including Huawei, to develop the next generation of Chinese AI chips. The move comes amid China discouraging local tech firms from buying advanced NVDA chips and recently banning foreign AI chips in state-funded data centers.